Hello everyone, my name is Mindy Woolcott and I'm with Storytelling Alberta, and I'm excited today to share with you a program that we are offering to seniors 65 years and older. It's called StoryShare by phone, and during these times of isolation and COVID, it seems very important that people are sharing stories and remaining connected, and that's the purpose of this program. It's free. How does it work? Well, we have a storyteller from Storytelling Alberta. We have a volunteer who is vetted, meaning they have signed non-disclosure agreements, they've had police checks and so on. And we have you, the senior, who would like to receive a story and are warmly invited to share one anecdote from your lived history as well back to us. During this conference call, which is usually done on the phone with the three of us, but can be done by Zoom or FaceTime, it lasts about 20, maybe 25 minutes, and the volunteer at the end of our call finds out if you have any immediate needs, and with the huge resource database that they have from Calgary Seniors Resource Society, if you have a need, that volunteer is able to give you the resources that you may need for that particular time. So we look forward to you filling out a short application or gifting a StoryShare to one of your friends as a surprise. We are at www.storytellingalberta.com. We are a not-for-profit charitable organization with a passion for stories, especially your treasured stories. So we look forward to being in touch with you. One November day in Calgary about 2 years ago, I was riding the C train. I was going downtown for a choir practice. It was around noon, and it was a cold and bleak November day. And at one of the stops, a young man got on the C train, and he sat about 3 people down from me on the opposite side. I noticed him immediately. He had rips in his jeans, a very thin leather jacket. His hair was dark and slick and straight. His face was slightly scarred, and he sat down and he looked, I should say, perhaps a bit lonely. That was my judgment, but I observe people all the time when I'm riding the C train, and I particularly was observing people on that gray day. Well, he began to speak to an older woman who was sitting across from him, across the aisle, and she was visibly nervous. I craned my ear to listen to what they were talking about, or at least what the young man was trying to engage her in conversation with, and he was talking about the weather and how cold it was, and then he said, "Downtown is hard. Downtown is hard." And I noticed that he had no 2 teeth in the top of his mouth, and I wondered how he had lost those teeth. Had he been in a fight, an accident? He kept trying to engage this older woman in a gentle way, but she would have no part of it, and nor would anyone else around. They had their noses in their phones or in a newspaper or book or looking out the window. But I was watching this young man, and I was very curious as to what his life was unfolding as. After a few minutes of him trying to talk to the older woman, he stopped, and my stop arrived, and I got up to leave. And as I was getting up to leave, he looked at me, and he reached out his arm, and he said, "Here, take this, please take this." And I looked at it and I said, "Oh, it's lovely. It's a lovely candle holder. Are you sure you want to give it up?" And he said, "I need you to take this." And so I did. And just as I was stepping off the train, I said, "What is your name?" And he said, "David, my name's David." And I had to get off and make my stop. But after I had that encounter with David, I was haunted, and to be truthful, I still am haunted by his unknown story. What was downtown for him? What was his life? What was he going through? What was his pain? I had assumptions about him at the beginning, but I really knew nothing except that he was reaching out for human kindness with another human being and giving a symbol of light and hope and faith to a complete stranger. And every time I look at this and I light it in the winter, I remember David and I say a silent prayer that all will be well for him. And so, to access our program for seniors 65 and over in Calgary, Airdrie, Cochrane, Okotoks, surrounding area, it's called StoryShare by phone. That's called StoryShare by phone, and it's on our website. There's a form to fill, a brief short form at www.storytellingalberta.com. That's storytellingalberta.com. And I'd like to say that Storytelling Alberta, which has been in existence for almost 40 years, offers a free lifetime membership to our Indigenous brothers and sisters, to Inuit, to Métis, our First Nations, because we want your stories and we need your stories. You are the first storytellers. We hope to see you.